Hello, this is Awakening with Buddha. One day, a monk welcomed a visitor at a small temple. The visitor's face was marked by deep sighs. Monk, I have a friend I've known for 10 years. But these days, even when we talk, it doesn't feel the same as before. Perhaps our relationship has come to an end. The monk smiled and offered a cup of tea. Then he quietly began to speak. Would you like to take a sip of the tea? The visitor blankly took a sip. The monk gazed at the teacup and said, when the tea is hot, you must be careful with your lips. And when it cools, the fragrance diminishes and the taste changes. Relationships are similar. When it's hot, we must be careful and stay close. When it cools, we naturally drift apart. Forcing it back to its original warmth will only cause it to lose its flavor, just like relationships should flow naturally. The monk refilled the visitor's cup and continued, when you finish the hot tea, you can refill the cooled cup. Some connections must leave for new ones to come. So don't be sad. The visitor looked down at the teacup and smiled quietly, realizing that just because a relationship ends doesn't mean his life stops. It simply makes room for new connections to come. As we go through life, we form many relationships with family, friends, romantic partners, and colleagues. However, not all ties can last forever. So, what are the signs that a relationship has ended? The first sign is that you no longer look in the same direction. There was a time when your conversations were enjoyable and you shared the same dreams. But at some point, your paths diverge. It's like a river splitting. The moment comes when each must follow their own course. Dreams and goals may change, and differing values can make it difficult to understand each other. If shared interests no longer connect you, naturally the frequency of conversations decreases. The second sign is that your heart no longer lingers. Even when you're together, you don't feel comfortable, conversations dwindle, and you stop putting in effort. Maintaining a relationship requires sharing emotions and thoughts. But if that feels burdensome, you're bound to drift apart. In such cases, it's important to accept the flow of change rather than forcing it. The third sign is that obligation outweighs joy. When maintaining a relationship becomes less about enjoyment and more about obligation, that connection is no longer what it used to be. The Buddha taught, everything changes. If we try hard to hold on, we often face greater suffering. Relationships should flow naturally, and trying to force them can make things even harder. The fourth sign is the recurrence of conflicts or the buildup of fatigue. Conflicts in relationships are inevitable. But if you repeatedly argue over the same issues without resolution, it may signal that the relationship is no longer healthy. A relationship that continues solely out of habit, without efforts to understand one another, will only leave wounds. Additionally, avoiding conversations to escape conflicts can accelerate the rift. The fifth sign is that the time spent together gradually decreases. If you're spending less time together due to being busy or other reasons, it suggests that the relationship is slowly drifting apart. While physical distance doesn't determine everything, emotional detachment naturally shallows the connection. If communication lessens and awkwardness grows when you do meet, this is a strong indication that the relationship may be coming to an end. The sixth sign is that you no longer rely on each other. Everyone needs someone to lean on during tough times. However, if someone doesn't come to mind when something important arises, or if you no longer wish to share your joys, your heart has already drifted away. Relationships deepen through shared emotions and support, not merely through acquaintanceship. The seventh sign is that only past memories remain. If you find yourself talking more about the past than the present, and no longer see a future to create together, the relationship is likely heading toward an end. While the past is precious, relationships must be sustained in the present. However, just because a relationship is ending doesn't mean it has to be a painful goodbye. Buddhism emphasizes non-attachment. It's about allowing things to flow naturally without forcing them to stay. This is the wisdom of a healthy separation. Additionally, not all endings are negative. Some relationships come to help us grow, and when their purpose is fulfilled, they naturally depart. So, when you sense that a relationship is ending, Instead of desperately trying to hold on, reflect on what that connection has meant to you and let it go with gratitude. Human connections are like seasons. Just as flowers bloom in spring and leaves fall in autumn, relationships will also flow in their own time. Be grateful for past connections and prepare to welcome new ones with an open heart. We need not stress or force ourselves to maintain relationships, instead, allowing them to flow naturally, while taking the time to reflect on our own growth is essential. I wish you a peaceful day. Thank you for watching.